Hello, everybody. I hope y'all are doing okay. I wanted to come on a little bit early because I have to go get milk. Boy, that's something. When I come on, I've always got something going on. And yes, milk is essential, very essential, like water around this house. We have to have our milk. And I don't want to wait till way after dark to go. And I knew if I came on here at 8:30 or 9:30 or went beforehand, I didn't feel like I just felt like doing this. So that's what I'm doing. I hope y'all are doing okay. Uh, there's Grandma Lois. How are you? If y'all don't know Grandma Lois, she has a channel and she's a dear friend. And so go check her out. And these names on here are very, very small tonight. I can't, I can see them. I'll just use my phone. Uh, Mary, hello, Billy. Hope your beautiful mother's recovering from her fall. Uh, she's recovering, and we thought we was going to get away where she wouldn't have black eyes, but to no avail, black eyes. So, it's just one of those things that we have to deal with. Linda, how are you? Grandma Lois, how are you? I talked to you earlier on the Facebook chat. Linda Gomez, hi Billie Jean, how are you and Mama doing today? Is she doing any better? Yeah, she's doing okay. She's smart and sassy and directing, so I guess she's okay, y'all. Uh, yeah, I didn't think that I was going to have to deal with the bruises, but they're there. I I don't have a photograph. I've got a photograph on my phone, but she did this in 2022 also, and they were both. She looked like a raccoon, and this time at least it's one eye and partial of the other one, so it's not as well, each day. Today it looked better. We thought she was going to get away without any purpleization, as I call it, but it started coming. And I was curling her hair yesterday. I got her a new little curling iron that, got a brush on it because her hair has gotten longer since y'all saw her, or you saw her in that one picture that I put on here of the day we was going to the doctor. So her hair has gotten longer than what she always wore her hair. But so I used the curling iron on it, and she said, I think my eyes getting a little worse. And I said, well, I think it's the hair better, maybe, so it just takes time. There's Sandra. Uh, hello, everybody. Just wanted to send prayers and blessings to you and Mama, praying for speedy recovery. Thank you, Sandra. It's working because she's okay, but today now I'm okay. Hell, you deal with one thing or something else. Today it's yesterday it was low blood pressure, and today it's high blood pressure. I gave her. Y'all remember those old cans of tomato juice? They make them now, and well, they've always made them, I guess, in the small cans, V8. Well, I thought, well, that'll raise her salt up, and it'll keep her from having that orthostatic blood pressure. Maybe if I just give her one. Well, it raised it too high today. It's 400 something milligrams of salt. So I don't know how we lived through drinking V8 juice all those years. And uh, after today, I realized how much salt is in V8 juice. So I gave her some medicine, and she's now directing, and so that's what's going on. With Mom, it's keeping her healthy and well and fed and okay with her blood pressure, and That's the only thing we have. But the this kidney disease, it plays havoc on people's blood pressure, whether it's too high or too low, or And I just do the best I can with my own health and her health. So that's just the way it goes. There's Anita Ross. Thank you, Anita. I've got to tell about Anita. Hello, Billie Jean and Mama. I hope she's on her way to full recovery. Anita was very sweet. She sent, and I was going to bring it up. She sent a package, and we got it today, Anita. Thank you so much. She sent some cards and sweet cards. One for me and one for Mother for her birthday. And then, to my great surprise, she sent a beautiful glass canister with bay leaves that she grew from her garden. And I never realized how interesting a bay leaf, the American bay leaf, looks and smells. Most of my bay leaves come from India that I've always used. So thank you, Anita, for these bay leaves. I will use them when I do anything that I need. I'll think of you. And Mother said, thank you so much for her card and her gift. So we do appreciate it. We really do. Hello, David. I just saw you come on. Hope you're doing well up there in Big D. We're doing well down here in Little D. It's kind of cool, a little bit cool for y'all that's not in Texas, Oklahoma. Got a little nippy. My neighbor friend, she was going to go out and mow her yard, and she said, I've got to put a jacket on, and I hadn't gone out this morning. So, and it is kind of cool. Mother gripes about this big old glass. She said, that's such a big glass, I don't know how you can handle it. And I said, well, I don't either, but it was on sale at Walgreens for, it's about a $20 thing, and I got it for like $2. And that's what we've been doing, is just trying to stay warm, because it has gotten cold, y'all. Lord, I was going to, hi, Linda, good to see you. There's Linda Hauser. She's got a great channel too. You'll need to go check her out. She's down close to, down there in Texas, on down. I know, but my brain escapes me sometimes. As y'all know, probably yours does too. So I'm not going to feel intimidated or mad or sad about it. If we didn't forget, I'm not sure if I knew if my mind was working if I didn't forget, because at least it makes me wonder if my mind's working, and I think, well, yeah, because I know I forgot something. But yeah, these bay leaves, this is just really, and you've got the little packet in it that keeps them dry. The way you did this, just as Anita, this is just lovely. Kind of goes in sync with what I'm working on right now. I'm working on my grandmother had a way of, well, really my Aunt Audrey. She would make her own vanilla extract. So I was looking, and I finally found, wasn't hers, but it was my other grandmother's recipe that with doing the vanilla beans. So I think I'm going to get some little bottles, kind of like this oil bottle that's got a dropper that's would be about it would be, I'm going to have it measured about the same as a 1 teaspoon. And I'm going to put that recipe for that vanilla in there and start uh, maybe selling them, give them out. I don't know yet, but been working on that, and I've been working on a lot of the things here at home, trying to keep these. We're going to see tonight how this the progress in this program goes, uh, because I'm still having the internet still has some lapses in it, but we're going to try to get past that by some of the wiring, not wiring, but the way that the voice and everything comes over towards y'all. There's way you can put a lapse in that, and I've had to learn all this, you know. Anita says, "Yeah, glad the jar survived. You both are very welcome." Yeah, that's a good heavy jar, you know, and it, you know, I got to thinking, Anita, one time I used to mail pecan pies to New York City at Christmas, and they always got there. But one year I made a caramel sauce and I put it in some kind of fruit jar, and by the time it got there, it had blowed up, you know. But and that's what I this maybe because this plastic ring through the mail, but two, maybe it didn't go on an airplane. I'm not sure, but it got here perfect. Everything was perfect, and you'd wrapped it perfect, and I couldn't see anything wrong with it. Linda said it's about 10 degrees cooler here today and yesterday, but we'll heat up again this week. I'm in Granbury. Yes, Granbury. That's right. Thank you, Linda, for interjecting there, because sometimes it don't work out. Uh, there was something I was going to tell y'all that, and I'm not sure. I'm looking here at my desk. That's where I am. I'm going through papers and looking. Maybe it probably was important at the time, but sometimes we think something's very important and really it's not important to someone else besides. There is a thing. Mother and I had heard about the Martin Scorsese, The Saints. You know, kept seeing that on the different advertisements. And so I didn't have Fox Nation because we just didn't have it. So I got it, and Mother and I watched Joan of Arc, which was Saint Joan of Arc. That's where the saints come in. There's the Saint Joan of Arc, and we watched Saint one lost his head on the platter. I'd have to look them up, but we've been watching that series, and it started in 2024. So if you like history and you like to know things about the Bible that you might not have realized how things played out besides just in Scripture, you might go look up the Saints show if you get Fox, the Fox news station, not news, it would be Fox, where the movies and stuff are. So that's what we've been doing, is just watching, and it's been very interesting because I didn't realize that Mary Magdalene, you know, we learned about all these people from when I was a child. My grandmother instilled the Bible in us, and stories, and Sunday school at little country church, clapboard church, and but I didn't realize, like Mary Magdalene, I thought she was always a prostitute, and that's just something that was blown out of proportion from what Scorsese says, that They wanted to defame her, and she was really uh, a good friend to Jesus. So, it's opened my eyes. And Joan of Arc, you wouldn't think of her as a saint, but she was. She went through a lot of stuff to help through the war in Paris and England. And so it's a good, if y'all need something to watch, that's why I mentioned it on here. You might enjoy it. Uh, there's not a lot of movies that I have watched. I watched the First Lady's documentary the other night. I just I wanted to see uh, kind of behind the scenes of her going through what she goes through through the inauguration, through many things, and it came on. I think it's on Amazon Prime, the Melania Show, because I had not planned to really watch it. I don't get into politics like that, and but then I decided, I would like to see how she decided to dress the way she did, or how she decided to pick the foods and everything for the inauguration. And it was informative. It was kind of bland, but it was informative. Uh, Seeing the designers work with her, and she was very meticulous, which you can tell that because she was a model. Uh, Having everything just so. She reminded me kind of my aunt. I had an aunt that worked at the Pentagon. And she lived down in Conroe, Texas, and she was married to a lawyer. But everything, y'all, uh, had to be just perfect. I mean, just perfect. Um, Mary, I was kind of the same way about the movie. Uh, I don't go out of my way to watch anything about politics uh, or anything like that. But I just wanted to view it from the standpoint of me being a designer for so long. I wanted to see how, uh, but I understand. Everybody has their own way of doing things. A lot of people tell me they're not very religious. And I said, well, you know, uh, you eat to each his own, as my grandmother always said. She said certain people try to find fault in everything, and then she said there's some that, like she never found fault in people, and that's kind of the way I am. I don't like the way things play out a lot of the times, but you just have to go on and grit your teeth and bear it. And I think that's why the depression had gotten me so down, because the news. So I'm trying to not watch the news about the wars and all that, because it's very, very depressing. And I just try to smile and go on, uh, because you can get wrapped up in stuff, especially if you're a lone person, loner like me. I've always been a loner because things didn't interest me. You know, People, they interest me to a certain point, but uh, I'm kind of a people watcher. But if I'm home, then uh, I become a loner, because I just I used to enjoy reading so much, and I can't even get myself to pick up a book. This internet and this AI and all this stuff has ruined me uh, from getting a plain old book off the shelf and reading it. And I used to love that. Hi, Sherry Long. Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw you also. I haven't been doing a lot of lives in the last 2 or 3 weeks because I would just, if you watched last week's replay, or uh, I've just been plumb depressed, and I don't mind saying it. I'm just depressed, and I'm getting out of it. David said, I read a quote this week: humans have art so that we don't die from reality. Uh, well, I try to see in everything that I see, I look at, uh, I look at many art forms. And from those, it's got me through. Many times there's been times that I felt like I was just uh, not going to make it, literally. And then something, a song, uh, a painting, uh, a person, a place would come into my view, and I would forget that for that brief second. I would forget, or that brief moment, I would forget if, how depressed or I wasn't going to make it I was. So I really think that, if it wasn't for the things that we deal with every day in our life that get us through, some people it's religion, some people it's food, some people it's art, some people it's music, you know. But too, also, I feel like that a lot of times I've been doing something else, and then a song will come on, and it brings back memories that depress me. So you have to be kind of careful, you know. You don't want to get too depressed. You don't want to get too happy. You just want to be even keel. Uh, so that's why I try to continue daily. Uh, I have the cats, and I have mother, and I have myself, and I have friends, a few friends. Not, I have a lot of acquaintances. I don't have many friends. Uh, and of course, I have some family, sisters. I have two sisters, but they live in their own worlds. Um, so they call and check on mom, and but sometimes it's just best for mother and I to stay here, uh, wrapped up in each other's ideas, and because we get along fine. We gripe and we fuss. Well, she don't fuss. I gripe and I fuss because that's just my daddy was that way. Um, Very intelligent man. If I could have half of his intelligence, but he was one of those that half empty or half full glass people. And I learned not try to not be that way. I didn't want to emulate of being a depressed, unhappy, gripey person, because my dad, he was a workaholic. And I think that's what he put all of his grief and stuff in, because he was a child. His mother, he lost her when he was only about 12 years old. And his father went off on long farming situations and driving a truck and bringing in stuff to the farm. And so he had to stay. I remember him telling a story one time, and he might have been about 12. He came home from school and had to walk probably a mile or two to the house. And there were a bunch of derelict people that kind of were around the railroad area. He lived in a little old community, but he went in the front door and somebody went out the back that had been in his house. Now, how do you think that makes a child feel, you know. Um, I guess granddaddy would leave him food and stuff from the farm to eat, but he had to fend for himself. And you can only chalk that up so far to blame, say, well, he was that way because. Well, I don't want that to be on my tombstone. I don't want somebody to say, well, Billy Jean was this way because. Uh, no, I'm not gonna be put to rest like that. You know, I've tried to better myself and make myself. Mother has always wanted the best for us kids, and even though what lacked in my father, my mother, she filled us, and her mother filled my grandmother that I speak of so often is my mother's mother, and she didn't want anything but good for us children, and we had to learn a lot of times right from wrong the hard way because we were caught between my father and then my grandmother and my mother were trying to appease everybody, and it was kind of a crazy life. Daddy never beat me, but he sure gave me a lot of whoopings. Uh, that I was saying, and he told me this. Well, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't whip you. And that's when I kind of wanted to say, well, quit loving me because it's making me feel not so good. And but like I've told y'all before, when I went to the ranch and he was dying of cancer, I had not spoke to him in probably 5 years because we just didn't jihad. We just didn't get along. And but when I found out that he was dying of cancer, uh, mesothelioma, from the benzene that he had been around in the World War II. I'm pretty sure we never could prove that or even tried, but uh, there's been so many things that's come out since he's left this world that points right to the Pearl Harbor or all that stuff. But I went over there and I said, Dad, I said, are there anything I can do for you? No, there's not. Them doctors, they just gonna give me this old chemo, and if it don't work, he said, I'm about tired of not feeling so well, and I think I'm just gonna give up, on those treatments because, uh, I'm not a doctoring kind of person. I said, yeah, Dad. And I told him, I said, Daddy, I said, I'll give up. And I was still working for designers, and I was working for an interior decorator. And I told him, I said, I'll give all that up to come stay with you down here. It was outside of Bonham, Texas. And I knew right then, because Dad wasn't one of those to have many words. He said, no, son, I don't want you to do all that and give up everything, but if you want to, you can. Right then, I knew he needed me. So, lock, stock, and barrel, I moved down to there, and I took care of him the last 6 months of his life, and he died there at home one evening because I didn't have no help. There was a hospice nurse that would come down on the Red River because that's where he lived, and she'd bring medicine and things like that. But one of my sisters would come every other day, but it was just basically me and him. Me cooking red beans and cornbread because he loved it, and garden onions, and didn't iced tea. but we made it. So after he left this world, um, I was pleased with what I had done. You know, you think about your parents. When you're young, you think, oh, they're stupid. They don't know what they're talking about and all that. But the older that I've gotten, over 60 now, you know they knew what they was talking about. Now, all they wanted was the best for you. You didn't think it at the time, but I do now, you know. And then when mother needed me, I really decided this is going to be a long, drawn out process. It's not just something that's going to last a few months. I'm not going to have her end up in a care facility or something as others would have probably had it. So we get along just great, you know, besides me griping occasionally. And we do what we want to. And that's the way the YouTube started, is because I was here and I thought, why don't I videotape cooking some kind of one of my recipes? So it kind of took off from there, and here we are today, y'all. Y'all are my friends, and I'm glad to have you. And I hope these little chats, when I can do them, they help you to get through. Like um, a lot of things that's helped me get through. There's Palm Beach Peter. Hello, all. Hope you're doing well, and hope your little mama's doing well too. That's kind of the same situation. Peter's in Florida with his mother, and I'm here. So, you know, he's always giving me good advice about medicine and medical and things like that. Him and David helped me. And a lot of times, you know, you don't have time to research and look up stuff because um, you're so busy, you know. The cooking videos, you know, same situation, very much so, Peter. Uh, you know, I love doing the cooking videos because there's not much to them. I just turn the camera on. I don't edit nothing, and I'm sorry, but I just am not one of those people that I'm just not fastidious about editing. Uh, and I do what I can do. And a lot of times those breakfast videos, you know, it's just because I'm having to cook or whatever. And if y'all can get any information out of them, I hope that you do. Zippity, I've got some wonderful tea holders. Uh, Now, if I'm drinking a cup of tea for a high tea or something like that, it will be loose tea. But when it's just plain old, like you said, oh, you said iced tea, I use that Louisiana decaffeinated tea. I've had expensive teas that people have given me, and I just revert to that because, you know, when you not in a large city, it's hard to get. But I like the Louisiana decaf tea. Uh, there was one or two others, but it's bitter. I didn't like it. I've ordered some new stuff that we're going to try because y'all know a lot of you aren't diabetic and a lot of you are, you know. But there's a new sweetener that's not supposedly bad for you, and we're going to try that. I've ordered some, but you know, I'm not real diabetic. I mean, real bad, and neither is mother. I mean, she takes her medicine, uh, which is not metformin. I'll tell you that, because I feel like that gave her and my sister both kidney disease. Because you know, you take that metformin, the way I feel is that if you're not drinking a lot of water to get that stuff out of there, uh, medicine left over, then it can be detrimental. And I think that's what happened because her and my sister never drank water. Louisiana Lipton, yeah, David, will do for iced tea. Haven't made it in a long time, but grew up on it. Yeah, I grew up on Lipton, I think. Well, I think that's all we had. Grandmother, now my granddaddy's mother, stepmother, she always kept a tea, and I've still got it, a tea caddy, a silver, and she kept loose tea in that. But she would shop at probably Neiman Marcus to get this years ago. Probably so. Yeah, Sherry, if you can email me, that's the best way. I'm not going to just put it out. She said, "Can we have your address again to send Mama a card?" I just don't want to put it out here since these shows are perpetual, and you never know. So if you email me at justmebillyjean@yahoo.com, then I'll send you the address. But I think that's the safest way, uh, especially with being on this worldwide web, uh, to do it. I love iced tea. I didn't drink it for years, though. I didn't drink it for years. And I just stopped drinking that and coffee. And here lately, she's always had 1 to 1.5 cup of coffee in the morning. That's just that was the way my grandmother did it. That's the way she does it. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. And I've already been on here 39 minutes. So we'll go to 40, and I've got to go get milk. I got to get in the car and go get milk because we don't have a cow anymore. We don't have cows no more. So I don't have to worry about going out there and milking. But I hope y'all have a good weekend. I'm trying to come back on here a little more, y'all. It's just if I'm not so exhausted or time works out, then. And tonight I had nothing planned to talk about except the wonderful mail that Mother got from Anita today. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you for subscribing and being our friend. And we pray for you, and I know y'all pray for us, and we're doing okay. We'll talk to you soon.